Alright guys, what's going on? Welcome back to the Fusion recap, and we're gonna recap I think it was day 4 yesterday. So yeah, and I got a little bit of a complaint about some stuff that happened. I'll get to that later, but yeah, without further ado, if you guys do enjoy the video, make sure to hit subscribe. Subscribing just lets me know you guys enjoy the content, and I'll keep making more. So let's get right into the video. So match number 1, let's get into that first. This is not where I had the complaint. I'll get to that in like the 1v1. But we had Dignitas versus Sandrock Gaming. What a match this was. I was really excited for this match. In fact, I was certain that Sandrock Gaming was going to win this because at the very beginning, or at least in the first few matches, Sandrock Gaming, they were just beating Dignitas to the ball. They were looking mechanically better. You know, Jorias wasn't really doing anything. I mean, SRG just had Dig's number. They were up 3-1 on match point, or triple match point, I think you'd call it. And then Dignitas with 3 wins in a row to end it off. You know, they really turned it on. But I think the big killer for SRG was the fact that 2 overtimes they let Dignitas win both of them. Well, there was 3 total, but I'm talking about when SRG were on triple match point, they ended up going into 2 more overtimes, lost both of them. I mean, that's when the series really turned around. But before that, SRG was, I mean, they looked good. I'm actually surprised that they lost. I thought that they had this, but honestly, what ended up happening was Jorias stepped up, you know, because SRG was shutting down all of Dignitas's passing lanes, because, you know, Dignitas is obviously a passing team, one of the best in the world. But if you shut down their passing lanes, then Dignitas, you know, generally they're going to struggle a little bit, but then they kind of, I'd say they switched up their playstyle a little bit, but they kind of kept it the same. And what I mean was that they started letting Jorias do a little bit more solo plays, it looked like. You know, I saw Jorias just kind of doing some mechanical stuff, but at the same time, he would still pass it to a Dignitas offender in the midfield. So, you know, a lot of times I would see Jorias like get around one guy, then just boom the ball midfield. And, you know, I think they put a little bit more emphasis on solo plays, Dignitas did, and that's kind of what really helped them. And I think it was good to do that, not focus just solely on passing plays, even though they were still passing. But they were kind of changing it up, so SRG didn't know quite what to expect. Sometimes they would go for a solo play, score off that. So I think that was a good mix-up from Dignitas. And yeah, Dignitas move on, and Dignitas are going to face up against Oxygen Esports, looking deadly with Aztral. But as always, we'll get to predictions at the end. And then we have the 2v2. We had Vitality versus Soleri, and what more is there to say? Like I said, Alpha 54, one of the best 2v2 players in the world. KDOP as well, another really good 2v2 player. This is a beatdown. This is an absolute beatdown. The only game that was really close, I'd say, was the last one. It went to overtime, but end of the day, Vitality got all 4 wins, all right? This is a beatdown. You know, they were against Carrion and Exotic, and look, I'm sorry, Soleri couldn't do anything. They were beat to every ball. They were outclassed in just every aspect of the 2v2 game, and honestly, KDOP was popping off that game. You know, I talk about how Alpha's one of the best in the world at 2s, but KDOP showed that he can carry 2 and 2s. Like, he's that good as well. I mean, just everything Carrion and Exotic were going for, it just wasn't working. It has to do with just Vitality's, they had like perfect rotation, all right? They were able to just keep the ball on offense. Soleri, I think they were putting up like 9 saves in one of the games. In like game 2, it was just, it was just shot after shot, and Soleri obviously only scored a couple goals. They averaged 1 goal per match, which is, you're probably not going to win averaging 1 goal per game. Fairy Peak averaged more than that in RLCS League play, just on his own. Just shows you how dominant Vitality is. You know, you got to put up a lot of goals going up against Vitality if you want to win. I mean, that's just how it's going to be. You can't have a low-scoring game against Vitality. They will not let that happen. And then Vitality go on to play against Dignitas. And then we get into the 1v1, and this is where I got my complaint, okay? This is where I have kind of a large complaint. Everyone, I swear to God, not everyone in my comments, still some people, but like Johnny Boy and Shogun, they had like completely counted out Eekso going into this match. If you watch the pregame show, even some people in my comments, they were like, nah, Astral's got this. I feel sorry for Eekso. You know, Eekso has 100% got this because Astral's looking so good. And I'm like, what are you guys talking about? Eekso's better than Aztral in 1v1s. Like, and I feel like I have to say, obviously Astral's a very good ones player, okay? We all know that. But so many people were just counting him out, counting out Eekso, and I was like, well, where is this coming from? So many people thought that Aztral was going to wipe the floor with Eekso. And then right when the game started, Eekso just showed that his ground game is better. His dribbles, his challenges are better. His flicks are better, okay? The only place that Aztral had Eekso beat was in the aerial game or in the mechanical game, okay? And even then, Eekso still pulled off a couple really good mechanical plays to show, hey, you're not the only one who can do mechanically gifted things or good mechanical stuff. And I was just confused because obviously Astral's a very good ones player, but at the same time, Eekso, in my opinion, is just better. And I don't understand why so many people thought that Aztral had this no problem. Like, some people were just completely counting out Eekso, when obviously, like I said in my predictions video the other day, I think Eekso had the clear advantage, and we saw that in yesterday's game. Eekso, he just had the 1v1 IQ. He understood what to do. I think one of Astral's, actually his biggest downfall, was that he didn't understand when to challenge, when to defend, and when to go for boost. That kind of trifecta of like decision making in 1v1s. A lot of times he would sit in goal and let Eekso just annihilate him with a mind game or a dribble play. Then other times you would catch Aztral going out for boost and he'd leave his net wide open. And I think that has to do with the fact that Eekso's mind games are really good. One thing that you guys got to remember, mind games don't just happen like on the goal line. Mind games are not just directly you're dribbling the ball towards the goal and you fake a shot. That's not all mind game is. Eekso, if you really go back in those matches and notice, he would make it look like the ball was in a position close enough to the boost, far enough from the goal where Aztral could go for that boost that was right over there. But, I mean, and that was the mind game. Eekso understood where to put the ball to trick his opponent into going for boost many times, okay? Aztral got caught out going for boost multiple times during that whole series, and I think that it's not because Astral's 1v1 IQ isn't that high. I think he's really good. It's just Eekso's is higher. I mean, Eekso is putting the ball in the spots over and over where Aztral thought, all right, he's dribbling it towards the wall, blah, blah, blah. And then, boom, right to the goal. It's a goal. So huge props to Eekso for that. You know, like I said, Astral's obviously a very good ones player, but, I mean, I just think Eekso's better. And he showed that the other day, or yesterday, yeah. So, yep, that's that. And then we get on to a bit of a predictions, like I usually do at the end of these videos. So in the 3v3, we have Renewal Vitality versus Singularity. And I'm actually very excited to see this matchup because Scrubkilla got kicked off of Vitality because they wanted all French comms. You know, there's obviously no bad blood between them, but at the same time, let's put it this way. I'm pretty back in league play, Singularity was, I think, the only team or one of the only two teams to beat Renewal Vitality. However, I do remember during that game, it was because Godsmilla was popping off. And I remember Godsmilla had this like dunk or forced own goal on the KDOP or some amazing goal to like finish off the series, and it was just a great game. And so Singularity has the potential, especially now that Scrubkilla is on the team. But the main reason that Singularity won against Vitality during league play was because Godsmilla was popping off, and I think that they're going to need Scrubkilla now that he's filling Godsmilla's shoes. And I think Scrubkilla is better than that. They're going to need him to pop off. They're going to need him to do a lot more than just throw the ball at Tho and Nolly. I think Scrubkilla is going to need to show off his mechanical prowess in this game. But yeah, then at the end of the day, I remember the last time Singularity did beat Vitality. Vitality also was struggling a lot. They had just added Alpha 54 to their roster. They weren't looking too hot at the beginning of league play as well. You know, I think it was a combination of Singularity playing well, Vitality playing bad, but now it's Scrubkilla on the team. Hopefully, even while Vitality's playing well, Singularity still stand a chance. You know, I think this will be a real good test for this new Singularity roster. However, at the end of the day, I think Vitality still take this. You know, ever since the beginning of league play, they've just looked so dominant. And then we're going to have Vitality again versus Dignitas. So Vitality played twice in one day. So it's going to be the matchup of Alpha 54 and KDOP versus Violent Panda and Jorias. Remember, Violent Panda showing us that he's got a lot of new mechanics that he's been working on over this season. Jorias showing us that he still has really good mechanics because he's a really good mechanical player. But at the same time, Vitality, I really loved Alpha 54's mechanics. KDOP, always with the good positioning. KDOP was putting away goal after goal. I mean, KDOP was doing a lot yesterday. If KDOP's playing the way he was yesterday, Vitality might take this another, like a 4-1, like if KDOP's playing that well. But I don't expect that to happen. I expect to at least go 6 games in favor of Vitality. I guess I would be surprised if Dig won this. I think Vitality is the clear favorite in this matchup. I mean, they just look so good when they're playing twos. You know, Dignitas obviously struggled in their first 2 games, or twos games. It was Matane versus Matane and Eekso and Violent Panda Joreuz. You know, I can't help but feel that in a matchup like that, Vitality would have done a lot better. So I'm gonna give it to Vitality in this case. I think it'll just be 6 games. I think Vitality win this 4-2. That's my prediction. Then, last but not least, we have SRG, Sandrock Gaming versus Tree of a Kind. So we're talking about Ocalid versus Eekso. And this is going to be a very tough matchup for Eekso because Ocalid is one of the best 1v1 players in the world right now. The other day when he was playing against Exotic from Soleri, I mean, it showed that Ocalid is an insanely good ones player. His shots are probably the best in the world, maybe second best in the world after Fairy Peak. His ability to put the ball in the back of the net is like no other. If he's shooting like that, then unfortunately Ocalid automatically wins because Ocalid is just that good. Exotic obviously was a really tough opponent because he is a really good ones player, but will Eekso put up the same amount of challenge as Exotic did? I don't know. And the reason Exotic was able to put up such a big challenge is because Exotic he did what is necessary of every top level ones player. He was able to change up his gameplay when he realized that, okay, playing a little bit more defensive will never work. He knew he had to challenge everything when going into that match. And then when Ocalid was like, okay, I'll just start mind gaming. Okay, then Exotic needed to change up a little bit there because, you know, and it was a back and forth game. If Eekso is unable to continuously change up his gameplay, I'm talking about after every 1, maybe 2 games, then it's gonna be tough because Ocalid, we know, can do that. His shots are so good. You know, they scare you. They scare you into playing defensive, but then that's not what you need to do. Then it makes you challenge, but then he'll just fake you. Okay, Eekso is going to need to figure out how to cut off the ground shots before Ocalid gets into a position where he's dribbling and shooting. So I think early challenges, but not just diving in, all right? It's all about when you challenge. And if Eekso can figure that out, then he has a real shot against Ocalid, but he's going to need to continuously change up his play style because you know that Ocalid will. That's what makes him one of the best 1v1 players in the world. It's actually one of the reasons that Joreuz lost in a reverse sweep against apparently Jack, because Joreuz, after apparently Jack figured out what Joreuz was doing, Joreuz didn't change up his playstyle, albeit Joreuz was also kind of feeding the ball to apparently Jack. He was just very uncharacteristic of him, but at the same time, not a lot of changing up his gameplay coming from Joreuz, which is really weird. I expected him to, but yeah, so that's what I'm looking for in Eekso versus SRG, or Eekso versus Ocalid. So we'll see. And yep, that is basically everything I wanted to cover. That's everything I wanted to talk about. Thank you all for watching. If you did enjoy, hit subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Later. Peace.